Hello and welcome to the spoiler talk for Suicide Squad. I am, of course, movie critic Rob with the movie channel, and I am back here with my friend John DiGregorio. Say hi, John.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And I thought that I'd bring him in to just pick this movie apart. I've actually gone to see it a second time since I did my spoiler-free review, and I kind of did it. Other than the fact that my cousins went to go see it because I wanted to go back and because I wanted to go back and see it again, so that I could, get a little bit more of a feel for the movie, because we were talking spoilers and we were going into it, and it's not going to be anywhere near as secretive as I was in the spoiler-free review. So with that said, I think we should start out with the character intros, because they're really, that's the first thing you see other than the title cards in neon.
I felt like the whole entire deal, how they introduced these characters, was perfectly well done. It kind of reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy in a way, because of the way they laid it all out. But except for one thing, they did it in Amanda Waller's file. And then they go into it and describe how they got them, and then they also describe Killer Croc, they described the Diablo, Enchantress, the Joker, they described Harley Quinn. They did a very good job at setting all that up. And
like I said in my spoiler-free review, a lot of people were really, they didn't know what they thought about the character intros. I thought they were fun because it set itself apart from Batman v Superman in that, you never got anywhere near that, but it made sense in the movie because this one's much more fun. It's much more laid back. So you could do that and get away with it. And, they didn't just do the... They also gave you, scenes from the past of some of these characters, like the Deadshot scene, which is one of the Batman cameos, and, the whole backstory with Harley Quinn, and all of that chit-chat's gonna get you hurt, Mr. J. So where do you want to start?
okay, first off, I want to start on, whenever I wanted to go in and do a spoilers thing, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in and talk about the movie soundtrack itself, because as soon as it opens up, too, you also get, Harley Quinn, you get all their stuff back, and then the song from Eminem, Guess Who's Back, and that song, Without Me, comes on, and it was perfectly laid out because of the fact that they're getting all their stuff back, and it's like saying, guess who's back? The villains are back.
Absolutely. The only song choice that I felt I hated in the movie was when they started playing Spirit in the Sky. Which I'm
and I was like,
no. Guardians beat you to the punch. Don't use this song. This is sacred now as far as you're concerned, DC. Don't touch this. I was legitimately mad when that song came on and they're on the helicopter. I was like,
the funny thing is, that's
shut
not
up.
Even... Well, the funny thing about that is, that's not even on the soundtrack itself.
Oh, I know, but just the fact that they used it in the movie, I'm like,
using it on the film. I felt like it was kind of out of place too for that same reason.
Yeah.
But still, I thought that the introduction to these characters, you actually get a sense of humor as to what they're like. I felt like
cameos from the Justice League.
Right, and then what else I liked was this. I liked how they went on ahead and showed Batman getting Deadshot, because it actually shows a redeeming moment for Batman, because he said even in death he wasn't going to go and kill anybody again because of Superman, because of what happened with Superman. And
it goes along with the Ultimate Cut, because, like I said in my review of the Ultimate Cut, in there you get a lot of the sense that Batman is just now killing because of Superman, and I think that's even going to change going into Justice League. But he started killing because of that, and it kind of shows, because the Deadshot getting captured scene would have taken place way before, or not, at least not way before, but before Superman came down, I would assume.
No, well, this is what happened. It sets up after the funeral with Superman and everything, and so that's what I'm getting at.
Well, no, because the movie does set it up there. I'm talking about the flashback of Deadshot getting caught.
Okay, right.
Could be before Superman shows up on the scene, and for me that was kind of like, okay, I buy that because he killed because of Superman, and I know we're talking about Batman v Superman,
Right.
but I think it was something that helped it from what I saw.
This is what I saw.
Makes sense of that.
Right. This is what I saw though too. I felt like, okay, if Deadshot was around whenever they were fighting and everything, he would have already been dead. Batman would have already probably killed him. I put the what's that thing called? Whenever he was, you know what I'm talking about? When he was branding.
Oh yeah. The branding. Yeah, the branding.
Right. I felt like he would either brand him or he would have killed him.
Yeah.
And he didn't do one of those. The only thing that Deadshot got away with was like a broken leg.
Yeah.
And that was it. And to me, I thought that meant that he wasn't going to kill anymore. I felt like he was going with what he told Wonder Woman, Diane, at the funeral, where he said, even in death, I'm not going to let his death go in vain.
Yeah.
And that was actually a good moment because I actually felt like he's done with killing. And even the part where he's on top of the Joker's car. Normally, in the last movie, he would have actually shot at the Joker rather than jump on the car.
Right.
So that's another redeeming quality to that as well, because we actually have a change of pace, change of character for Batman. And that's why I like that cameo. And then I loved how they broke away from Batman, and then they gave Flash the spotlight a little bit as to how he caught Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
And I felt like that part was fantastically well done. And I also like the humor that Ezra Miller is actually bringing to the Flash.
Yeah, that scene was actually directed by Zack Snyder because he had all the, because they're filming Justice League, and they were filming Justice League while they were filming Suicide Squad. And so they had, they had Ezra Miller on set for Justice League. They had the costume. And so what ended up happening was that Zack Snyder came in and he shot, I think on the set of Justice League, he kind of shot a little bit, which was then superimposed in front of Captain Boomerang, because Jai Courtney, he said in an interview that he didn't even know what they were filming. He didn't know what it was. Nobody told him what it was. And then when he saw it in theaters, he's like, oh, that's what it was. So yeah,
that's actually pretty cool. Because I like whenever actors don't really know what's going on or anything like that. Another thing I want to actually bring up too is, the whole entire thing has actually been. I actually like the whole setup with Harley Quinn when she's up on the thing, in the jail cell and everything, twirling around, and she's just and then all of a sudden the guard comes in there and he's just being seductively sucked into Harley Quinn's world, and all of a sudden he gets knocked out by Harley Quinn and everything. It was pretty cool. Because I was like, yes, it reminded me of Batman the Animated Series. It reminded me of that. And, and then I also there's so much about this movie that I actually love. And I love the humor that Margaret Robbie actually gave Harley Quinn. I felt like that she was Harley Quinn. What did you want to add?
When people, because when the critics started bashing Batman v Superman, I understood it. I understood why.
I do too.
With Suicide Squad, however, it's just as much bashing, and I don't get why. Again, it's funny because it's bashing by way of the heavy hitters. Like the people who are writing for like the Chicago Sun and whatever the frick. But people like us on the internet, like Jeremy Johns, for example, and Chris Stuckman, they liked the movie and they gave it a good review.
And the funny thing is, they're all certified by Rotten Tomatoes, including Schmoes. The Schmoes are actually certified by Rotten Tomatoes.
What do you mean by that?
In other words, in order for your review to get up on the Rotten Tomatoes meter, you would have to be certified by Rotten Tomatoes.
Chris Stuckman is also certified.
So Jeremy Johns is also certified by Rotten Tomatoes, and so is the Schmoes. So what the Rotten Tomatoes does is it collects all the reviews from
Oh
everybody.
no, I know that. And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand either when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, is that it's a average of all of the reviews. It's taking a bunch of reviews together. It's not Rotten Tomatoes giving them a score of whatever. And a lot of people just don't seem to get that. I mean, if anybody's at fault here is the critics, not Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes just puts it all together and makes it easy for everybody to see.
Actually, I can tell you something else, too. It's not just us that liked it. There's actually, okay, I was watching a Collider spoilers review and also a non-spoiler review. And each thing that some of them liked, the other person didn't like. And whatever the other person didn't like, the other person liked. So therefore, they...
I mean, it's not a perfect movie.
It's not.
It's not. By no stretch of the imagination. I thought Enchantress was... She played it too over the top with her accent and her voice. She was great. But I didn't... and the whole time she's just sitting there doing I don't know what. Yeah. And
yeah, I mean,
it was so weird. So, you know, things like that. We're just...
Well, for me, I'm going to get to her when we talk about the negatives of the film. I just want to talk about the positives of this right now, too.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I know... I was given an example of, I know this movie's not perfect. I like the movie. If anybody that's watching, if you saw the review that I put up, you know, I liked the movie. That's one thing I didn't like. I actually liked Enchantress. I really did. I didn't like that part, but I liked her character before that part.
Right.
But anyway, so...
Another thing I liked was Diablo.
The what?
I loved the Diablo character.
Oh, Diablo, yeah.
Diablo was my favorite.
That
just had a lot of fun.
That was one that surprised me, to be honest, you know, because he kind of felt like a in the back character. And then when you see the movie, and you know he gives all his backstory about how he killed his family, and he kind of becomes the center of the film in a sense, towards the end, which I was like, pretty cool. I like it. I like Diablo, and I'm kind of sad he died.
Me too. I'm actually, because I got attached to his character because I felt so bad for him. He's not such a bad guy. He was just misunderstood and everything because I didn't see him as a bad guy. I just saw him as someone that misused his powers and everything whenever he gets emotional.
I know we're not going to get an extended edition, because I mean that's what's been said so far, but I really think it should, because a lot of these characters got that, you know, that we thought were going to be in the background ended up getting a lot more story. For example, I don't know if you heard, but like Slipknot was supposed to be like this serial rapist,
right?
Which would have been awesome because it would have made me hate the character more and want him to die.
Right, and then all of a sudden he just winds up dying. Like, he just want to help me escape? Okay. Well,
that scene, though, was ripped out of the comics, though.
Right. I'm like...
That scene was perfect.
Right. But I was like, okay. Well, so much for Slipknot.
I figured, like, he was one of those that I thought him and Diablo and Boomerang were all going to bite it by the end of the movie. Two of the three ended up biting it.
I didn't think that Boomerang was going to die at that. I always thought Diablo would. For some reason or another, I felt like he would be the one to die. Because of the fact that he was miserable without his wife or his kid, and the fact that he wanted to redeem himself.
Yeah.
So I felt like those were the three reasons why I would think that Diablo would die.
When they shot Harley Quinn. Anyway, my heart just sank. I'm like... And then she goes, and I was like, okay. I hate you, Air. I hate you, David Ayer, but I love you. That was awesome.
It's hilarious. That, like I said, that's also another quality from the Batman animated series that she actually got right and everything, too. Because she had that silly goofiness in that character to where, oh my God, they shot her.
She nailed it. She nailed it.
The accent was perfect in my book. She nailed the
accent.
Going
back, and that was one of the things I was going to say, going back and seeing it again, it didn't feel to me that she cut in and out of it as much. I felt there was a scene or two where she kind of switched between the Brooklyn style accent that Harley has to just a standard American accent. Once or twice. But it was a lot less evident, the changing, when I saw it the second time than it was when I saw it the first time. Which was great.
Killer Croc.
Huh?
Killer Croc was actually pretty big, too.
Killer Croc was funny, and I liked his character. I would have, again, going back to what I've read already about the scenes that were cut, he was supposed to have a lot of backstory that was never shown.
It kind of made it to, like, Drax a little bit and everything.
Yeah.
He didn't have that many lines, and I really wanted to hear him speak more.
Well, no. It wasn't the lines. It was just, they gave him... like his whole backstory of he was always an outsider, he was an outcast. I know Amanda Waller kind of explained it, but they show you
a lot more in detail.
And they actually show you instead of telling you with Killer Croc. Which again, I'm hoping that WB, since they already did one Ultimate Cut, just go ahead and do all your movies Ultimate Cut. I mean, honestly, come on, make every single one of your movies 3 hours. Go balls out and just do it. Because if you want to be if you don't want to be like Marvel, that could be something that could set it apart and give us another viewing option at home that Marvel doesn't give us. So that could be a way. And if the fans are already screaming for it, the movie hasn't been out for a week. Give it to us. Come on.
I think after a while, though, this is just me speculating. I think after a while, they're going to say, well, you know, we really should do an extended cut to this.
The one thing I didn't like that, did you hear what Leto said? He said, well, if I die, the scenes are going to come out. And I'm like, don't go there, because Ledger died. And yes, they did release some of the clips that he did that weren't in the film, but don't insinuate that. I was like, that's dirty. Don't do that.
I just felt like the dude was just sad at the fact that his stuff got cut, and he had so much more stuff that he wanted to that was in.
He said they shot enough to do like a spin-off Joker movie. The amount of stuff they shot, I was like, oh my god.
Right. And I actually like Jared Leto as the Joker. I felt like he did an excellent job bringing...
I need to see more, and I think if they would have kept those scenes in there, I would have liked him better.
Right. For me, personally, I liked it as a small dose, because it actually gives me something to look forward to whenever they do a standalone Batman movie, because it gave us a little bit of flavor there to say, hey, this is your new Joker, this is what it's going to act like, and I loved it. I loved the background of it. It's actually straight out of the way that Harley Quinn just jumps up in that whole entire thing from Acme is actually straight from the Suicide Squad comic.
I'm glad you went back to Harley, because there was a major spoiler that few people have been catching, and I caught it in the original viewing the first time I went, but I wasn't sure of what I saw, and then I went back with knowledge that to look for it. Did you see when they're giving her for Harley, she is the one in Amanda Waller's mind that killed Robin, that killed Jason Todd.
Right. I remember that.
Now, I have a theory.
What?
I have a theory. I don't think she was the one that did it, but I do believe, because, again, we know how her relationship with Joker is in the comics. I think she got blamed for it. By Joker.
Well, if you remember, the Joker actually hits Jason Todd with the crowbar.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the place explodes later, so she could have been implicated for the explosion.
Okay, I got you.
For Leto to cover, for the Joker to cover his behind.
For the love of her life by saying, I'm the one who killed Jason Todd, while the Joker's out there running free.
Exactly. And that would make sense, because, I mean, that's one of those scenes that you don't mess with. It's one of those moments that you don't mess with. And if they would go as far as to say it's Jason Todd, because they did right when Batman v Superman came out. Don't
Right.
mess up that. But I would love it if Leto pinned it on Harley for him not to look as guilty. I would have liked that.
Right. Another thing too is I just want to tell everyone from the Joker Unleashed page that I helped run that I told you so. I told you that she was going to wear the Jester suit, and nobody believed me that she was going to wear.
Gorgeous.
And I said I knew it. I knew it as soon as I saw the Jester suit. Whenever everybody's getting their stuff back, and she holds it up against her thing, and then after that, it cuts into the Joker and her together. And she's in that Jester suit. I'm like, oh my god, straight from the comics. It was perfectly well done. It wasn't forced in there. I thought it was great tip of the hat towards the comics. It actually gives all the comic book fans something to actually say, yes, they got that right.
One of the things that I appreciated about the Joker, well, let me backtrack. One of the things that I think Ledger did better than Leto, and I know, they say don't compare Jokers, but you kind of have to, was he got more laughing time than Leto did. And Leto, he had that one laugh, where he's surrounded by the things, but you kind of saw that in the trailer, and in the movie, it was drowned out by music so that you could barely hear it. So you never really got a moment of him unleashing the laugh, which I'm like, if there was anything to give to the Joker, and I know it's an ensemble film and it's not about him, but still, if there was anything that you needed to do for that character was give him a moment for him to laugh and show us the laugh, because that's like one of the biggest things about the Joker is the laugh, and they never did. So again, and it could be that they did, but it got cut somewhere down the line, which is why I want the extended edition.
Right. I wouldn't mind if some of those scenes were just deleted scenes for special features purposes.
Now, if they're in the special features, I'd be fine with that too.
Right. Okay, David. Here, you heard it. This is what we want. These are our demands.
Well, Leto's already been campaigning for that himself about putting them into the DVD, which is already available for pre-sale. I saw that on Amazon. They have it's pretty cool. They have maquettes like they did for Batman v Superman of statues. One is Harley and one is Deadshot, and I'm like, oh, they look pretty good. I'm not buying it, but they look pretty good.
Right. Same here. I thought about buying the Batman vs. Superman. I don't know. They're too expensive.
After I hated the theatrical cut as much as I did, I was like, I'm not giving you any more money. I'm going to buy the ultimate cut to see if it's any good, but I didn't have any faith in it at all. So I'm like, I'm not spending $160 on you. I'll do that for Marvel. I'll do that for Jurassic Park any day of the week, but not you.
But let's see. What else can I actually say? Also,
Katana.
Katana was excellent in that movie. And everything.
Katana did not have enough screen time.
She didn't. She only had, 10, maybe 15 minutes of it?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a shot of her in the trailer. She's looking up at the Soul Sword that was not in the movie. It's not in the final cut.
No.
Because you remember that? She's kind of like this, and you can see skulls coming out of the sword, like a vapor. Yeah. That was not in the final cut, was it?
It showed her looking at the katana, but it didn't. But
nothing came out of it.
No, it just had a glowing thing, and that was
I know.
They cut out the skulls.
They should have left that in there.
Right, because it actually shows the remains of her father.
But no, and I'm talking about a specific shot from the trailers. I'm not talking about whether or not they did it in the movie. I'm talking about there was a shot from the trailer that was not in the movie at all.
Right. That wasn't in there at all.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if you saw it and I didn't, but I didn't see it.
No, it wasn't in there at all, and I really wanted it in there because, this is what I was trying to get at. I wish they would have done that because it would actually show the remains of the people that she killed, but not only the people that she killed with that sword, with that katana, but it would have showed the remains of her father and everything too. Because remember, it said that she talks to her sword because of her father's in the sword.
And we did no, her husband.
Her husband. My bad.
And it did no, and we got that because she was when they're about to go to confront Enchantress, she's talking in the background, and then they give you the explanation, which I thought was fine. I thought that was okay, cool. You actually addressed it.
I think we could actually show like a skull or something, like they were going to do with the trailer.
Right.
Just show it. That's all I wanted to see.
Well, no, because when you see a trailer, you expect the cuts, and the scenes that were shown in the trailer to be in the movie, and they did the same thing to the Batman chase scene. There was more to that chase scene that we saw in the trailers that was not in the movie.
Right.
Because there's a cut I remember from the trailer where Leto is punching the roof as he's driving, and we never got that shot either. And I'm one of these people where I remember the shots from the trailer, so it's like I'm expecting the shots from the trailer, and when they're not there, I'm like, what? Because if they're going to show up in the trailer, you'd expect they'd be in the movie, and that's not something they consciously cut out because you already showed it.
Right, and I do like when Harley goes, "You're ruining date night, bats," and then she shoots up the night and everything. I thought that was funny. I like that part. But then let's see, what else is there? There's also, I didn't really see what the purpose of keeping Scott Eastwood's character a secret. There was nothing there for it to be a secret.
I honestly thought that he was going to jump out at the last moment and be like, by the way, I'm Deathstroke or something, which would have been amazing. And, somebody that's the son of Clint Eastwood, you would do that for him, And he could play the part. So who knows? Maybe they're keeping it a secret. Maybe he was under a code name for the mission or something. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Then there was the guy who was in love with Enchantress and everything. Colonel Flag. I didn't like his character.
I didn't mind his character. I thought his character was fine. It wasn't one of the more interesting ones, but I thought it was fine. As far as the actor goes, that's one of his best roles because he didn't do it for me in RoboCop. The movie was fine, but him and his portrayal it kind of felt stilted and just like he really wasn't there.
Right. Then there was. I'm trying to go into my other positive.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller was excellent.
Amanda Waller. There was a moment when she tells Flag that I'm gonna kill Enchantress if you don't get her under control. I'm like, Batman, just come in and snap her neck. I'll permit this one death from you. Snap her neck.
So evil. Seriously, that's one thing I have to say about that character.
She just shot up her coworkers.
It's like, they're interns. They'll be okay.
I was like, this is cold, man. I like it though.
And then she doesn't even blink or anything like that. Even Deadshot said the same thing. Because you're one mean woman.
One mean lady. He got the best jokes in the whole movie.
To be honest with you, Will Smith was the one that I was pretty much being fearful with. I was like, I hope he's not going to go in this thing and try to be in the spotlight.
He really wasn't.
Right, and not only that, but I was also hoping for this too, that he's not going to be playing himself, but I wanted him to be playing Deadshot, not Will Smith.
I absolutely loved how he did it. He was subdued, but he had his great moments of comedy. So it really gave you a sense of this is a guy who he's in pain over what he does, but he does it anyway because he has to, and that's what he knows to support his family. He's the best of the best there is at that, and so he does it. But at the same time, there's a lot weighing him down, and you see that throughout the movie. Whether or not, he doesn't say things, but the way he acts and the way he responds to other people.
His characteristic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to agree. The characteristics of a character can actually say a lot more than dialogue.
Yeah.
he wants to get out. He wants to go on ahead and see his daughter again. But this thing is holding him back. And I
All right, so now to
love
the negatives. Let's go to the negatives.
Okay, my negative thing on this thing is Enchantress being the bad guy rather than the Joker. I would have loved this angle here. I would have loved for them, look, the Joker is out and everything, so we have to send these group of people to go after the Joker. In the meantime, you have Harley Quinn with the cell phone texting her Mr. J and everything, try and meet up with him.
Yeah.
And then she's going to backstab the Suicide Squad. That's would have been perfect to me. But instead, you have the Enchantress doing her little Zumba workout.
Yeah.
You know, doing her little Zumba shuffle. And it just didn't work for me. I mean, and then you have her little putties from Power Rangers over there that really didn't do much. To be honest with you, the Joker's minions were a whole lot better than...
Yeah. And here's what I think about that. I pretty much guessed it when I was watching the trailers who was going to be, at least, while not the main antagonist, I guess that Enchantress had something to do with whatever was going on. And I'm glad that, unlike Batman v Superman, and credit to Air and credit to Warner Brothers for listening, to not give it away in the trailers like they did with freaking Doomsday, because that would have upset me. Because I want to find out if I'm right, but I want to find out when I go and watch the movie. So I was like, yeah, I got it right. But I got it in the way that made sense, which was, okay, sitting in the movie, oh, wow, I was right, not sitting on my computer. What?
Right, they gave out the whole entire ending and everything else. But I do want to mention this. I know I mentioned the minions from the Enchantress, but I love the Joker's crew. I love what they did with that, because you have a panda with a machine gun killing people.
I love how they had a second in command from the comics. The guy that was that escorted the prison guard in to the butcher, the back of the store. He's actually from the comics, which I was like, oh, that's cool that they have him. I can't remember, his name's Jimmy something.
You know what, though? I actually wanted him to say, wait until you see my toys.
He never said that either.
Waiting for that. No. I actually have things that wasn't in the movie that I'm actually going to send to you later on.
Nice.
Because there's like a whole list of stuff. And it was going to be a whole lot darker Joker than what we got. Because there's a part made, there's some other stuff that's in there, and I wish they would have actually kept it in there.
Leto said that if they would have kept everything in there, it would have been a rated R film.
Right, but no. But get this though: the people that went to see this, the test footage, the reason why they changed everything was because the people in the test footage didn't like the original cut, so therefore they took stuff out of the editing room and left it on the floor. Therefore, that's why we got what we got.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, because what I heard was that there were two cuts of the film being screened. There was the Ayer cut and there was the WB cut, to kind of see which one won out. Do I think that WB pulled some strings? Absolutely, to get their way, because that's what they always do. They didn't learn when Fox did it with Fantastic Four, apparently, but I'm pretty sure there was some backdoor dealing going on there as far as WB is concerned. Because come on, this is not Zack Snyder. This is David Ayer, who worked on Training Day, who directed Fury. Come on, let him do his thing and let him screen what he wants, because at the end of the day, he knows what he wants and he knows the vision better than even you. But that's never going to happen, apparently.
Right.
That's the one thing I wish they learned from, because even Marvel suffered from that a little bit with Age of Ultron, where you had a lot of scenes and trailers that were not there in the movie, and it was like, well, where are they? And I'm pretty sure that was because of the corporation. Marvel hasn't done it as much, as Fox or as now WB, but they've done it. Every studio's done it. I just kind of wish they would trust the directors that they put in charge of these movies until the movie screens and releases, and just let them do what they want. Don't compete with them. You hired them. Let them do their thing. That's what you pay them money for.
Exactly. Another thing I want to actually say that's actually positive, and we can actually wrap up with the negative
Yes.
part. But the positive was seeing the Joker rescue Harley Quinn out of the jail cell and everything. I was geeking out so hard at the movie theater. I'm like, yes, I finally get to see the Joker buzz Harley Quinn out of jail and everything, and she's going with him. And my girlfriend is sitting over there by me, and she's like, did they really kill the Joker before? I said, no, babe, no.
Nobody bought that. Nobody bought that.
I was like, no. I said, trust me, the Joker's not dead. He's just now getting warmed up.
Yeah.
And then whenever I saw that pop up, I'm like, yes. I was like, all I could think of was Batman the Animated Series, the comics, everything was laid out perfectly well. It was perfectly well done and perfectly well executed. I have no complaints with that. Other than the only complaint was the editing and, of course, the little Zumba Enchantress.
Yeah. So those are the only negatives for you?
Yeah, those were the only
A
negatives.
lot of people said, when I say people here, I'm talking critics, have said that the movie felt choppy to them. I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, were there things missing from the trailers? Absolutely. But the movie itself did not feel choppy, if that makes sense. It didn't feel like there was anything missing. I feel, yes, there were, but the movie did a good job of sealing itself in a way.
Right. I agree. I mean, I could definitely see the editing, some of the edit problems a little bit, but not as much as what people have reading into it. It's just probably a little scene here that should have been extended out a little bit.
It was nowhere near the choppiness of Batman v Superman. That was choppy. That was a mess. The theatrical cut was a mess. So people that were comparing it to Batman v Superman, shut up. Shut up, because it's nowhere near that. And if you think that, then you need to get off of the ultimate cut and go back to the theatrical cut and go give it another watch. Because no way, no how.
Although I did like the theatrical cut and everything whenever I saw it at the movie theater. But, you know, then I watched the extended version. I'm like, okay, my score just went from the 3.5 meter. I think I gave it a 3.5. I'm not sure what I gave that last time. I think maybe a 4.5 or something like that.
I gave it an I'm angry.
Right. But I think, but you see, I went from a low score to a 5 out of 5 just with the extended cut. Because it was
I'm such an idiot, because I said in my ultimate cut review, I said, and you know, Luthor's still in there, Doomsday's still in there, but at the end of the day, Batman's covered, so I'm fine. I'm happy. You know, I don't care.
For me personally, I actually like Lex Luthor and everything. I like Lex Luthor, and I also like Doomsday.
I liked him, just that was too much of him. I feel that if the Joker and Lex Luthor would be swapped, meaning that Lex Luthor got as much screen time as Leto's Joker, and Leto's Joker got as much screen time as Lex Luthor, we would all be happy.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because there was too much of Lex and not enough of Joker, in my opinion.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for me, I like seeing Leto on a small dosage. This gives us a chance to actually see what his character can be like for the next movie. But I wanted to see more of him because it wasn't clear to me that they cut out a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the negatives for me arise from the fact that it was such a fresh film up until like the last 20 minutes, where it turned into every single movie we've seen in the theater this summer. People going up against a beam in the sky. They have to kill whatever creature's powering the beam in the sky to kill the beam in the sky, and then that's the climax of the film. I know, and I like that Suicide Squad did it differently because they had to kill the brother first and all that stuff. But I'm like, can you do something different aesthetically besides beam in the sky?
I think it was a little bit anticlimactic as far as that went.
I mean, just because Avengers did it does not mean every movie has to do it. I mean, if Ghostbusters at this point is doing it, you should not be doing it.
Well, but it wasn't just Ghostbusters that did it, or the Avengers that did it. Fantastic Four did it.
I didn't watch that, so I don't know.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four did it. And, you know, it gets kind of repetitive over and over again, saying the same stuff to where the point is we just...
I would have been fine with the machine. I would have been perfectly fine with the machine itself that Enchantress was building if it would have looked cool.
You know what I was expecting the machine to look like?
Mm.
I was expecting the machine to look like Amanda Waller.
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been great. And whenever I saw I'm like, okay, that's not the machine.
That would have been funny.
Because I would have thought that was the machine was Amanda Waller as an army tank or something.
And it's funny because, like, one of the things, and I mean, we covered all the negatives, so I mean, we're pretty much wrapping up at this point. But before we wrap up, I want to say, because a lot of people were complaining that Harley Quinn was like, you know, was the sex symbol and was the thing. If you say that, you do not understand the character of Harley Quinn.
Right.
She is basically a personality of Stockholm Syndrome, where she falls in love with somebody who's, at the end of the day, her captor and her person is dominating her in every sense of the way, in her mind. But at the same time, you saw, especially that scene where she turns the gun on Deadshot because, you know, she's having a memory of the Joker. And I thought it was captured perfectly. Exactly what they were trying to convey and exactly who the character was. And all the people that were complaining about it, just shut up.
Because she just wanted a real relationship with the Joker.
And you saw that at the end where she got her vision of how she wanted things to be.
Right. So, with that being said, too, I mean, what do you give this score for you?
Ooh. I usually don't score movies, and when I do my reviews, I don't score my movies because, and I've said this in a few of the reviews, I want you to go off of what I say, not off of a number, because numbers can be subjective, and it's like, would you rate a comedy the same way you'd rate an action movie, and the same way you'd rate a horror? You rate them because of different things. So that's why I almost never give a number score to my things. And I think what I say to people is, watch my review, listen to my comments, and you'll get an idea of what I feel without giving a number. I know, like Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns, they do their own ranking system. It works for them. It just, for me, that's one of the things that I don't do. I used to, but the more I started, getting into movie reviewing and stuff, the more I was like, giving it a number just sounds kind of arbitrary because not every movie can be judged on the same merits. If they would be able to be judged on the same merits, then I would, but they can't, so I won't. That being said, I really liked it, and I don't have that many gripes about it.
All right. For me personally, I'm just going to give it a 4.9 out of 5 because of the two negatives.
Yeah, I would give it, if the Joker put a gun to my head and said score my movie, I would give it a 4.8, 4.7, or 4.9. Anywhere in that range, because I felt that it earned it. And for me, it was just, I want at least go back to Man of Steel quality, please. And they did that. They actually did better. I thought this was much better than Man of Steel, in the sense that it was more enjoyable than Man of Steel as a whole. Man of Steel had great parts, but this was enjoyable.
Right. But anyways, we'll get into Man of Steel some other time, though. But I like Man of Steel.
Well, no, I mean, I was just comparing because, I mean, we've only had 3 DCEU movies counting Suicide Squad, and Man of Steel was good. It had its moments, but it was good. Batman v Superman, the theatrical edition, was a travesty. And then the Ultimate Cut saved it from hell. And Suicide Squad, I think, is even better than Man of Steel. So hopefully we've reached the bottom of the pool, and we're going to keep climbing as the movies keep going.
I have a feeling. But anyways, with that being said, I think this is pretty important.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I think we covered everything. We covered all the characters, and we covered what we liked, what we didn't like. So I think we can wrap it up. So this has been the spoiler-filled review of Suicide Squad. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we gave you an idea and a sense for what we liked, what we didn't, and all the stuff that, all the nitty-gritty, the rumors and all the stuff, all the good stuff. But this has been Movie Critic Rob with the Movie Channel, with my friend John DiGregorio, and as always, signing off.